कुंज बिहारी की, श्री श्री गौरनिताय की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद कलियुग पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिधि नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गे श्रीराधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So in the last class, I was speaking about dealing with equal devotees. And also dealing with senior devotees. So 3 words we used. One is Sajatiya, Snigdha and Svatovara. So I was explaining about Sajatiya, like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai. They're Sajatiya. Both are very fond of talking about Krishna's Rasika Shekhar nature. How Krishna is Akhila Rasamrita Murti. And that central subject of the sweetness of Krishna is relishable by both. Muhuraho Rasikha Bhavibhavuka. So they are able to sit at the bank of Godavari and talk for hours together. So in that connection I gave many examples. Birds of the same feather flock together. They can associate with each other. So there was a devotee who was asked a question about whether these three words are used for association with senior devotees or with equal devotees. Actually this is for both. The Sajatiya, Snigdha actually means those who are affectionate to you. Those who are concerned about your welfare. So you need some devotee to associate with who is concerned about your eternal welfare and immediate welfare, all-round welfare. That is Snigdha. And Svatovara means one who is better than yourself, he says. Actually, a devotee always considers others are always better than me, isn't it? Objectively also, when you view it, you should be able to see that associating with this devotee will benefit me. Some kind of sound is. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, associating with a devotee should enlighten you more than what you know, and enliven you, which means inspire you to become more surrendered to Guru and Krishna. And become more stable and fixed up in your spiritual life. And it should be beneficial to you. And it should reinforce the principles that you have learned from Srila Prabhupada's books and from your spiritual master and from Parampara. It should reinforce those principles. And it should take us closer to Krishna. And it should help us rise above the waves of material world and situate ourselves in spiritual platform. This is the purpose of association with anyone. Even amongst equals, one can be sometimes a little more stable devotee than another devotee, is it not? One devotee is less stable, another devotee is more stable. So then one can take help like that with equal. But with equal devotees, the relationship is slightly different. Because the equal devotees are also affectionate and they are friendly and they are willing to hear your joys and sorrows, your successes and failures, your ideas that you may want to share with them, the ideas that you may want to hear from them. Like sometimes in a family there are brothers and sisters. They feel very nice to be with one another and chatting. Sometimes they talk things which they may not talk to mother and father also, amongst themselves. So, and also sometimes when the relationship is very thick, then they may even help each other by suggesting some ideas. If you do this, you will be able to perform even better, isn't it? Like sometimes you give a talk somewhere or you perform a program somewhere and then you ask one of your equal friends, how did I do today? How did it go? What do you feel? You may say that, your lecture was very wonderful. The question answer you became little timid. You don't have to fear so much. You are follower of Prabhupada. What you learn from Prabhupada's books you tell them, you may say. So you get sometimes some very nice ideas from equal friends. And also, in front of equal friends, you can't talk big philosophy. Sometimes they will tell you, sitting in Vyasasana, you may talk big things, but on a practical level, they know who you are, and you know who they are. So, sometimes we come to ground level, down to earth while talking to devotees. And also, you get a lot of strength by seeing equal devotees. Why? Like I can tell you, I got a lot of inspiration from Gauranga Prabhu. Although We both came almost at the same time by seeing his wonderful example. How he studies Shastra and how he remembers, how he repeats and how he is hardworking and how he does services so wonderfully. How he is very carefully understanding the mind and heart of the spiritual master and trying to assist him. You see recently in the Vada farm, how much responsibilities he has taken. And in Yatra, how he is taking lead in cooking for 7,000, 8,000 devotees. So, when we see equal devotees, sometimes we will get more strength than even by seeing senior devotees. Senior devotees, they are great souls. They are exalted personalities. But somebody who came at the same time as you, but is progressing very wonderfully, then you also develop a desire. I also want to advance. I also want to grow in my spiritual life. I could be doing much more. I don't think I'm doing enough. It should not lead to inferiority complex, but it should lead to inspiration and enthusiasm by seeing equal devotees. And that is why we need the company of fellow devotees. Svatovara, when we say better than me, there are many equal devotees who are better than me. Now, if you ask Gaurang Prabhu, he may say many things that other equals whom he feels are doing better than him. So everybody can consider equals whom they feel they're better than us. So we go to them to associate with them and learn from them how to grow in Krishna consciousness. Now, every one of us should have at least one devotee with whom we have such a relation. He is almost like a parent for us, or an elder brother, like we say philosopher, friend and guide, who knows about us and we know about them, and we have been taking guidance for a few years. And how to relate with them is very important. So it is said, you have to respect all, but you can only associate with a few. And you can reveal your mind in confidence to a very few. And you have to take instruction from one. So, now who are the people who deserve our respect? Every living entity. Even an ant. Even donkeys and cows and bulls, they have to be respected also. In fact, there are Vaishnava acharyas who would offer obeisances to even animals also, seeing that there is Paramatma in their heart. So, we have to respect all. And we can only associate with a few who we preferably associate with Vaishnavas. Although they may be Vaishnavas belonging to the four Sampradayas. We respect all. In fact, Prabhupada includes Vallabhacharya's name in Bhagavatam first canto, and the commentaries of different acharyas which we can refer. In that he says Sridhar Swami, Vallabhacharya, he says Vishwanath Thakur, Baladev Vidyabhushan, like that he writes. So these are all acharyas who are within the realm of Vaishnava philosophy. So Mayavadis, Sahajias, Pashandis, Dharmadhvajis, these kind of people we respect, but we avoid their association. Atheistic people, impersonalistic people, those who may worship personal forms, but their goal is to merge into Brahman, we don't associate with them. We keep a long distance from them, although we respect them. Now within the Vaishnava circles also, with our own Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya people, we may associate longer than with those who belong to other Sampradayas. The reason is, if you closely associate with people of other Sampradayas, you are likely to make comparisons and find fault in them. If you know the art of associating with other Sampradaya people without hurting them, or without proclaiming yourselves as superior, isn't it? So then one may associate. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu associated with Venkata Bhatt, I was telling you last time. One has to know the art of associating with different Sampradaya people. So sometimes a brief association is good enough, and prolonged association may not be very good. Because every Sampradaya, every Sampradaya is like different fruit. There is mango, there is apple, that is orange. But the mathematics is same. 2 oranges plus 3 oranges is 5 oranges. And we are teaching 2 mangoes plus 3 mangoes is 5 mangoes. Mathematics is same, but the juices are different, rasas are different. We emphasize on Madhurya ras. Sri Sampradaya, they may emphasize on Dasya ras. The Vallabha Sampradaya, they emphasize on Balya Lila, Vatsalya ras. Their emphasis may be different and their whole focus may be different. But all of them are talking about personal relationships with Krishna. Lord is the master, we are his servant. And we have to love him and serve him now and forever. This is the philosophy. Bhagavan, Bhakta and Bhakti. This is same. So all the Sampradaya, Vaishnava Sampradaya Acharyas, like when we went to South India, how sweet it was to associate with them. Isn't it? We can see a lot of commonality in both. And if there are some differences, we should not highlight it, as I told you before. So, if they are going to Vaikuntha, you should not say, you are going to only Vaikuntha, we are going to Goloka. If you talk like that, they may not appreciate that. So as we are going to Goloka, not that Vaikuntha is, as if Vaikuntha is so inferior like a slum or something, that we are going to Goloka. So this is neophyte tendency. That is why neophytes should not associate too much with other sampradayas without becoming mature oneself. Like when Jagadanand Pandit was going to Vrindavan, Mahaprabhu told him, first of all he told him, don't go, but if you want to go, don't stay long. Stay only for a few days. And not only that, he told him that you should associate with Sanatana Goswami and stay under his protection, isn't it? And be careful, otherwise the Vrajavasis are spontaneous devotees and you are likely to offend them by finding fault with their speech and behavior and everything. So he warned, he gave warning. So we respect all 4 Sampradaya devotees. And within our Gaudiya Sampradaya, we can associate with Gaudiya Sampradaya people. But then there are many Gaudiya Sampradaya organizations like Bhaksan Saraswati's, Gaudiya Mats and ISKCON. You can go to a Gaudiya Mat temple, you can offer obeisances to the deities, and you can get the same feeling of being in the parampara of Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. You can accept prasadam, there's no problem. And you can hear the kirtan, you can dance with them in the kirtan. Like when I went to Mayapur, we were coming back from Godrum Dweep, there were heavy rains. So we went to the Gaudiya Mat temple, isn't it? And then they were singing and dancing Gaur Aarti, so we also joined them. So in one level they are also like our brothers, Gaudiya Mat also. But sometimes if you associate with them, some of them are appreciative of Prabhupada, they glorify Prabhupada. Some of them criticize ISKCON because they have some misunderstandings. So associating with them will not be very favorable in that sense. Brief association is good enough. If our spiritual master takes us to a Gaudiya Mat, we go and we associate with them, hear lectures from all Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas along with our Guru, and then come back, no problem. But the association should be selective, based on what is appreciated by the Guru. We don't associate with any Gaudiya Vaishnava, because sometimes some people look like Gaudiya Vaishnavas, but they are not. Like you see, when I went to Bengal, I saw one of the houses they had invited me. At the entrance of their house, they have put a picture of Gaur Nitai. I was very happy. Oh, they have Gaur Nitai, very nice. And the gentleman's wife, she was telling, I offer bhoga to Gaur Nitai every day. They're very fond of Mahamantra. They had a harmonium, they were singing, so I also joined them, we sang and all. And then he brought his father and said, here is my father, who is planning to become Vanaprastha now, dedicate his life to his Guru. And then I saw a Gaudiya Vaishnava tilak on his forehead. Very happy. I thought he's also a Gaudiya Vaishnava. But then he said, his father came and said, Swamiji, We follow the path of Chaitanya Pat Shankara Mat, he said. Which means we like Vaishnavas because they chant and dance in ecstasy, forgetting the material world and thinking of Krishna. So we like that path very much, we follow. But our goal is to merge in Brahman, which is Shankara Mat. So we do a combination of both. That is what our Guru has taught us. So these are all deviant sects. So he looks like a Vaishnava externally, wearing Kantimala, wearing tilak, everything appears like Vaishnava, but actually his goal is to merge in Brahman, which is deadly against what Lord Chaitanya and the six Goswamis taught. These are all apasampradayas. We can't associate with them. I said, thank you very much for so nicely revealing about yourself. Hare Krishna. I gave him some prasad and pushed off. We cannot talk to them anymore. So we have to be careful whom we associate with. So we can respect all and we can only associate with a few. And within ISKCON we have so many gurus, so many disciples. As we told you before, they are all like our god brothers, god sisters, their cousin god brothers, cousin god sisters. Then there is Guru, and there are Guru's god brothers who are like our uncles, like god uncles. So we can, within ISKCON it's like one family. We can certainly associate and take advantage and grow in our spiritual life. At the same time, we have to reveal our mind in confidence to a very few. Although we may hear lectures of so many Maharajas, so many seniors, so many devotees, why we should reveal mind in confidence only to a very few? There is a reason for that. Like for example, sometimes somebody visits our temple and you feel very enlivened in that association. Once His Grace Kaunteya Prabhu came to Pune and he gave Bhagavatam lecture. It was terrific lecture. At the end of the lecture there was a big applause. Everybody clapped hands for a long time. And I went to his seat and said, Prabhu, everybody is thrilled today by hearing your lecture. Our hearts are sold out to you. And he is a very mature devotee. So he smiled and said, Radheshyam Prabhu, you all have heard me only for the first time now. You hear some 10, 20, 30 lectures. Gradually the attraction that you felt now will go down because I may repeat many things again and again. Because every devotee has certain set of things which he repeats. And he lives for certain principles that he emphasizes and everything. Another thing he said, because I have come from another place to this temple, all the audience here, they see only my bright side. And they are totally ignorant about my other side of my personality. And this is one reason you can appreciate a Vaishnava from your heart. When you look at a Vaishnava. Like if somebody comes to Pune, 3 days, 4 days, you give a wonderful program. You become very enlivened. The reason is your mind is completely like a clean slate with no perceptions about them. And with no bad perceptions about them, you hear with a bola bala heart. With a very innocent and pure heart like a child. Like that you hear. With an open mouth, like that, completely sold out. That is one reason I invite a lot of devotees to Pune. Because we want to develop that purity and innocence with which we should hear. Whatever I want to say, I make them say. See, our Radha Gopinath Prabhu once told me when he came to Pune, a priest is not famous in his own town. He said, this is a proverb he was telling. Like if in a Christian church, a priest is giving lecture, he says, I am going to give Sunday feast lecture, all of you come, there will be very few people. But you bring a priest from another place and say, such and such priest is coming and he is going to give a lecture, big crowd will come, he said. So a priest is not famous in his own town, he was telling. So he said, when we meet new people, we are eager to know new because the nature of the soul is to always go for something new. He wants ever fresh. Something new, some change, something special. And when you see the devotees whom you know already, you know what will they say. I know what this fellow is going to say. So do this, do that, you know. You feel like that. अरे आई हैव हर्ड सो मेनी टाइम, अरे मालूम है प्रभु जी, सुन लिया प्रभु जी, बहुत बार हो गया प्रभु जी, बस प्रभु जी, अभी आराम करो प्रभु जी. They feel like that, And when you see new people, okay, let us see, ये क्या बोलने वाला है, अभी सुन लेंगे. Something new, very nice. And you don't know the character of the devotee. And then you go to that temple, you go and stay with the devotee, 6 months, 1 year, suddenly you come to know this devotee has weakness with women. He talks at length with women on phone, and then he has some problem. And then because of which some disciplinary action was taken on the devotee, you get shocked. He really? अरे बड़ा बड़ा बात करता है व्यासासन में, इसके चरित्र में कोट है, this problem है, then you are only a big talker. You feel like that. When you get close to people, you understand, you know who is who, you come to know. But when somebody visits from another place, you see with a very blank mind, you are able to receive it. That's one reason we get extra appreciation for other people, other places and everything like that. Now somebody goes to such a person and reveals. Many times what people do, they reveal their problems to visitors than the people living in the same project. There is a reason for that. Why? They know that if I tell somebody within my project, they may go and report. And then they may also look down upon me, But if I meet people coming from other places, they don't know my other side. They don't know my problems. Just like you don't know their side, other side, they also don't know your dark side. You don't know their dark side. You both are ignorant about each other's dark side. And then you go and praise him and he praises you. So there is no actual depth of understanding in that relation. Is it not true? And there is another advantage. Your mind feels they are not my authority. When somebody talks to you without being your authority, you feel more non-threatening atmosphere with them. So you may go to them, it's not wrong. You can ask philosophical questions, learn answers from them, very nice, in case you are afraid to ask something. But at the same time, if you go and reveal your personal problems and ask, they may not be able to give you a solution. Or their solution will be limited to their understanding of you, which is only a few minutes of association. Because they don't know your entire background. They don't know the total picture. Once in Chopari temple, His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj came. And he gave a wonderful lecture for an hour about Vanaprastha and Sannyas, ashrams. And then there was one devotee, you all know, very famous devotee who sits in the front and hears lecture. He comes every day, one very famous devotee. So he asked a question to Maharaj. Maharaj, I want to take sannyas. At the same time, there are so many of my god brothers and everybody says, no. You are a grahastha, you have children, you should continue this. But I want to take one person, immediately take sannyas and preach. So what is your opinion? He asked. Maharaj very coolly, immediately he replied, for such things you have to consult your spiritual master. If a spiritual master tells you to take sannyas today, you can take, no problem. Finish, that was the answer. He didn't give any further. Although he spoke about taking sannyas, spoke about taking vanaprastha and all that. Because he knows very well, I don't know this person. I cannot give him instruction. Because he is new to me. And without knowing the whole total life of this person, why should I instruct him? So Prabhupada says, you have no right to instruct people who are not your sons or disciples. He says. Now who are the sons of disciples? Like for the Diksha Guru, all the disciples are his disciples and sons. And if Diksha Guru entrusts some devotee, like for example, Maharaj has put me in Pune, he has put Bhaktirasad Maharaj in Belgaum, isn't it? He has put Radha Gopinath Prabhu in Kolhapur. He has sent Shikshashram Prabhu to Nasik and Rohini Priya Prabhu to Aurangabad, isn't it? So there is somebody whom he puts prominently who will preach in that area and expand preaching and then bring more and more people and then further cultivate them, care for them, train them, educate them, enlighten them, enliven them, elevate them. Supposed to do. and then bring them closer to the lotus feet of the Guru. Now, from the ISKCON point of view, I have two GBCs above me, Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj and Radhanath Swami Maharaj. The question is it? Yeah. So I am an ISKCON representative for all the devotees coming to Pune. Anybody wants to take Diksha from any Guru, I will encourage them in that direction. And I will also create facilities where every Guru's disciple will develop thick relationship with their own Guru, which is called as diversity. And they will be combinedly coming together and committing to the Pune temple and by associating with each other without making any Bhedabhav as, are you my God brother or your God brother. They will all be coming under one umbrella of Srila Prabhupada's mission. So I do both actually. I encourage both. Like we had Vyas Puja of Gopal Krishna Maharaj, we had Vyas Puja of Radhanath Swami Maharaj, Lokanath Swami Maharaj we had, like that. And then in the Vyas Puja, everyone develops thick bond for their own Guru. And then when they come to Sunday Feast program and all counselors meet, there everybody comes together and associate with each other and they learn to develop respect and love for everybody else also, like that. And from the point of view of my spiritual master, personally, I am his disciple. As a disciple of Radhanath Swami, I have my responsibility to my God brothers and God sisters, whom I would train in a certain way, which I feel will help them to grow in their spiritual life. Now, there may be disciples of other gurus who may want to join this training program, which is absolutely not wrong if they are inspired by it. Just like in Jiva Goswami's training, there were 3 disciples of 3 different gurus. And they were all put under the custody of Jiva Goswami. Like that, sometimes Sachinandan Swami or Giriraj Swami, sometimes Iswalana Jayapadaka Swami Maharaj, Lokanath Swami Maharaj, Gopal Krishna Maharaj, they all send their disciples to Pune. You go and stay in Pune for 1 year, 2 years, and take training, and then come back to the respective temples and help. So they come. So we don't discriminate while giving training. Only RNS disciples are allowed. We don't say that. If somebody is liking this style of training, they are most welcome. They can come also. And they find some inspiration. They can take inspiration and go back and then preach in their respective places. So now, when we reveal our mind in confidence, our tendency is to keep our dark side private and tell only about our bright side and ask the other person for answers. So if the visitors are mature, they will not give you an answer. They will tell you that I will talk to the local authorities, find out more and tell you. Or they will give you only the principles. They will not give you details. They will only teach the principle. This is a principle. Because they will say that I don't know the total picture. You are saying from one side, I don't know everything. So they will give you the principles and leave you. So that is why within the project where you are living, whether it be Chowpatty temple, Pune temple, Juhu temple or any other temple that one is living, you have to have at least one person who you love and they love you, they are affectionate to you. And that person should be a person in whom you can find some shelter. You are inspired by that person and he takes care of you. Any problem, doubts you have, you can go to him naturally. And he will be willing to sit with you and try and give time to you, just as parents give time for the children. And in the same project, there are many other devotees with whom also you can associate. Because we arrange programs where multiple speakers speak, and you hear, you also see them. There is nothing wrong in associating with all and respecting them. But when it comes to revealing mind, besides your counselor, you can reveal mind to 2-3 other counselors also. There is nothing wrong in that. Because sometimes you want to take 3-4 answers from different people, combine them, synthesize them and understand. It's not wrong. But one should not go to different counselors till the answer that I want, I get. And then say that one counselor has told me, so I am going to do it. That's not proper. After hearing from 3-4 people, you can come back to your counselor and say, Prabhuji, I associated with 4-5 devotees. These are the things they told me. Now I got a broad picture. Now you tell me what do you want me to do. One can ask like that. So associating with different devotees, just as I associate with many people I told you last time, many of my seniors. Besides seeing the Kanchenjunga, the tallest mountain, which is like Diksha Guru, one should be able to see many other mountain slopes in Himalayas, which are like the senior devotees and next level, third level, fourth level devotees also we can see. And by that association we will feel very much forted, just like a fort around you. You will feel very safe and secure by having association of multiple devotees. At the same time, we take instruction from one, that's the reason, which is your counselor. And authorities give you some service which you do. If you have doubts, you ask your counselor. Isn't it? Very simple system it is. So Sajatiya, Snigdha, Swatovara, by these three things we learn and associate and grow. Now I want to say some words about organization versus spontaneity, which is a very important thing in spiritual life. Because some people argue that, if we people are too much organized, this is like an office, this is like a corporate atmosphere, so many rules and regulations and do's and don'ts, and it's like an army, like army battalion or something like that. So we need spontaneity, Without spontaneity there is no joy. And then there are other people in other places elsewhere, they say there is so much spontaneity. Just like our Sarvam Prabhu was telling me when he came to Pune. Vrindavan is 100% devotion and 99% deviation, he was telling. Because in Vrindavan, if you go, there are so many organizations which talk about different things. The Sahajiyas are more than the actual true followers. He was telling, because there is 99% freedom. Nowadays everybody thinks I can do whatever I want. They adopt Raganuga before becoming proper Vaidhi Bhaktas in Vrindavan. That's why if you go to Vrindavan, you should be very cautious, not enter into any temple or any place and associate with any type of Vrajabasi, so-called Vrajabasi was telling. So, some people say spontaneity leads to disorder and chaos. So we need some order. We have to bring some order, they say. So organization brings orderliness. Spontaneity brings sweetness. So when there is only spontaneity, then there is chaos. Then there is no rules, no regulations. And everything is chaotic. Everything goes haywire. There is no controls, there is no systems, there is no order, there is no management, and everybody does what they want to do. That is complete spontaneity. And the other extreme I told you, organization leads to orderliness. Orderliness and systems, rules, regulations, and things are kept in place, everything, and disciplinary actions are taken in time. This kind of thing, this is orderliness. Now what is the ideal situation? We need orderliness and spontaneity in proper proportion. Like for example, as I told you, we should hear from some devotees regularly for a prolonged period of time to grow in our spiritual life. But we can also bring visiting devotees to Pune, or for that matter any temple, who will come and give inspiration and go. You see, for example, 75% you need order and 25% inspiration. And then your spiritual life will be very strong. You'll be very joyful. For example, it's like saying 75% suji halwa and 25% pineapple essence. Isn't it? Then pineapple essence is very nice. Any of you have eaten halwa with bananas and pineapple essence? Correct? You like it? See, when you are putting the halwa in the mouth, whenever the banana comes, it's extra tasty. And when the pineapple comes, extra tasty. Pineapple, what do you call it? Essence. It's very nice. And then suji halwa is also there. Imagine 75% bananas and 75% banana and pineapple essence and 25% suji. How it will be? Will you be able to taste it? It won't be good. Just like somebody told the Sarvam Prabhu and Devakinanda Prabhu came to Pune. They were sitting on Vyasasan, and Devakinanda Prabhu asked them, Prabhuji, aap bologe, main bolun pale. Kaun bolega? Who will speak first? He asked. They both are very good friends, Sarvam Prabhu said, Prabhuji, you speak first, then I will speak. And then he said, okay, take a half. He asked, both of us will speak half time? He said, yes. So there was 1.5 hours time available. So 45 minutes you and 45 minutes me, we both will share. Like that, Devakanand Prabhu said. So then he started speaking, and his lecture became so exciting and thrilling. He crossed 45 minutes, it became 1 hour, it became 1 hour 15 minutes. Then he looked at the clock. Hey, 1 hour 15 minutes? I'm sorry, Prabhu, aapke liye time choda hi nahi maine. Okay, now you take, now you speak, Prabhu, you start speaking now, I'll stop now. And Sarvam Prabhu began speaking. He said, this is like, Bopla Angur Sabji, he said. Bopla Angur Sabji, he said, which means somebody was selling in a market, Bopla Angur. So when people heard it, they thought Angur is there. So let us go and buy this. But they saw one big Bopla and one small Angur. He said, Angur, Angur is grapes. So Sarvam Prabhu said, now Prabhuji said we both will speak jointly, but his lecture has become like Bopla now. And my lecture will be like Angur. But why is Angur? I will give short and sweet, he said. So I will finish my lecture, he was telling. So, similarly, of course he finished 15 minutes, he spoke very humorously, very nicely and finished the talk in 1.5 hours. Similarly, when we talk about spontaneity, 75% orderliness and 25% spontaneity is good in a project. Now, people, as I told you, you are associating with your own counselor and some devotees within your project. Now, every project has certain emphasis coming from the top. Man, whoever is there in the local particular project, it will come, those emphasis will come. Regarding this, I asked His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj personally. Once we went to Maharaj's room, myself, Govind Prabhu, Shyamanand Prabhu, Radha Gopinath Prabhu, Gauranga Prabhu, we were all there. So, that time I asked Maharaj many questions. I can tell you that whole conversation is very important. So, that time Shyamanand Prabhu was telling Maharaj, some people feel that I am too frivolous. I talk so many things from here and there, all over the world, so many news and everything. So, I am thinking, Maharaj, I want your blessings. Tomorrow onwards, I want to behave like Devamrit Prabhu. He said. Maharaj gave a big laugh. Like that. He laughed with his shoulder and said, no, go ahead, tell me. So he heard it for some time. And then Maharaj said, nobody can be like anybody else. He said, Devamrit Prabhu is Devamrit Prabhu. Shyamanand Prabhu is Shyamanand Prabhu. Gaurang Prabhu is Gaurang Prabhu. Radheshyam is Radheshyam. Like this is it. Every person is individual and unique. You cannot, put even two devotees. Like for example, once I was telling Maharaj about Gauragopal Prabhu speaks like Gauranga Prabhu, I said to Maharaj. Maharaj denied. Gauragopal Prabhu is Gauragopal Prabhu. Gauranga Prabhu is Gauranga Prabhu, he said. Although there may be some similarities between two devotees. Because both may say Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya in the same way, same tune. Prayers they may say in the same way. They both may speak from Bhagavatam verse by verse. It may appear similar, but if you go very close, when you observe very carefully, you will see the difference. Because every jiva is unique. And then I told Maharaj, some people say, Pune, we are too strict. We emphasize on discipline, like military discipline. In Chapati, people are very friendly and jovial and everything they say. So what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to bring about some change? So Maharaj said, then he told, see, Krishna Swaran Prabhu is preaching and making wonderful devotee youths. Gaurang Prabhu is preaching and bringing so many boys to the movement. Now you are preaching and bringing so many boys to the movement. The end result is, you all are bringing boys who are serious about studying Prabhupada books, who are serious about practicing spiritual life. And their flavors may be different, just like the different fruits are different. There is mango, there is orange, there is pineapple. Every fruit has a different taste. So the emphasis given by these three leaders may be different. Krishna Swaran Prabhu has certain emphasis. You are Radheshyam Das, you have some emphasis. Gaurang Prabhu has some emphasis. And in Bombay, Maharaj said, these 3-4 devotees came at the same time. Govinda Prabhu, Radha Gopinath Prabhu, Shyamanand Prabhu, Sanat Kumar Prabhu. Because almost they are equals, I didn't make one president. I made them all 4 presidents together. And they have a certain type of flavor which they will hand over down. They have that nature. with them. And because of which most brahmacharis will catch that type of flavor from them, and their behavior and dealings will be in a certain way. Similarly, in every project, somebody is put prominently, and his flavor will be caught by many other people in that project, and that emphasis will come down. And you don't have to worry about it. Ultimately, we are preaching and bringing people to the movement, to Srila Prabhupada's movement, and we should certainly try our best to inculcate Vaishnava qualities in ourselves and in others, emphasize study of Bhagavatam in our own lives and in others' lives. And in the course of the training, people have to develop loving relationships for one another and for the Guru Parampara. That has to be emphasized. That's all. And then Maharaj told me, if you feel your heart says that I need to improve on certain things, you improve. And then similarly in Chowpatty, they also feel that we have to improve on certain things, and then they will want to improve it. And then Maharaj told me, your responsibility is not only in Pune, you should come here to Chowpatty time to time, sit with these leaders and discuss how both these temples can be developed. And that's why Maharaj made that Counselors for Spiritual Vision, CSV. 14 of us. I am from Pune and 13 from Bombay. We meet together monthly once for a couple of days, and we discuss on holy name half a day on Srimad Bhagavatam, and half a day on preaching vision. So in the preaching vision, once they asked me, Radheswami, in Pune you have friendship with so many people who visit Pune. You call Navagendra Swami, you call Devikanandan Prabhu, you call Sankarshan Adhikari Prabhu. Now we call Gaurakrishna Prabhu. You are calling so many people. How many people you know? How many people you have friendship with, you call? Then we made a list, it came to almost 40. We made a list on the board in one of the preaching vision meetings. So they said, hey, come on, you have so much friends, all over India, everywhere. Then they started talking amongst themselves. Hey, we are not keeping, we don't have so many friends in India. So we are only taking care of our own people. We are only having meetings amongst ourselves. Then the talk came, oh, we have so many friends abroad. Then Gauranga Prabhu said, we have connections in London, we have in Seattle, we have in New York, we have in Malaysia, we have in Singapore. Then they listed everything. That came to some 25, 30. Then both the boards were written. Then we came to the conclusion that Pune has connections, a lot of connections within India, and Chowpatty has a lot of connections outside India. So Gauranga Prabhu said, now we also want to work on increasing our friendships with temples within India. And Gauranga Prabhu was telling. So please, whenever these people come to Pune, you send them to Chowpatty. So I told them, whenever your people come to Chowpatty, send them to Pune. We'll also know. So Maharaj said, this is very wonderful. You feel that we have something and we want to improve upon something, you work on that. And we have to, the quality of service that we offer, we have to increase it more and more. You do that. But you will not be able to totally change. Because everyone has some unique, innate natures, which you cannot change. And if you try to change it, if you feel too much bad about it or something, then it will be very difficult. You will not be able to do some function properly. So, but Maharaj said, every project has good and bad. But people who visit from another temple, they may not be able to see it. They will only see the wonderful side of a project. They will just congratulate and appreciate and go away. You will see even people coming to Pune, how much they glorify Pune. You have seen that? But people who are in Pune, they may be aware of some of the deficiencies we have. They may be aware of it, which the visitors may not know. And the same is true with Chowpatty, same is true with Juhu, same is true with any temple you take. So, in certain projects, certain ISKCON temples, some people become burnt cookies. What is a burnt cookie? Like you put cookies inside an oven and keep it, close it, and then you put on the switch. Some cookies come out very well, and they are very delicious to eat. But there are other cookies which are burnt cookies, completely carbon black. Similarly, somebody coming to a certain temple, he had a bitter encounter with a brahmachari or with congregation. Somebody had a bitter encounter. In every project it is there. You can ask any temple. There is no temple, there is no exception to this. You go to any project in the world, you will find there will be some burnt out devotees. Now, because they had a bitter experience with the local temple where they lived, they will label the temple as a bad temple. Because that one encounter they had, like for example, a life member comes to Pune. That day when life member came to Pune, I happened to be in the information center. I made him sit, I gave him prasad, talked to him very nicely. Now I am very sure when this fellow goes back, he will say, Pune is a wonderful temple. Why? Because I met one wonderful person there. See, one wonderful person's encounter makes you label the whole temple as a wonderful temple. Now, you encounter one bad person in the temple whom you think is bad, and then you will label the whole temple as a bad temple, fanatical temple. For example, say in every temple there are neophyte devotees and mature devotees, advanced devotees. So sometimes people encounter neophyte devotees and they get bitter experiences. Like for example, some boy was living in Pune, some brahmachari tried to get him to become brahmachari. Prabhuji, you have to dedicate your life for Prabhupada's mission. Grihastha ashram is useless and all, he spoke like that. If somebody was fanatically preached by some brahmachari who was a neophyte, then somehow or other this person escaped and at last he somehow became a grihastha elsewhere, in some other place. Then this person will be like a deer which has escaped from a tiger. He'll go and tell, hey, I was in Pune, this Pune temple is a bad temple because they say only you have to be brahmachari, that's all. You cannot be grihastha. He will say like that. You have seen that? Because it is his personal notion, personal perception of the project, you see. There is another person who comes to Pune. He joined voice. His leader, his preacher counselor was a mature devotee. He personally handed him over to a nice grihastha counselor. Prabhu, you can get married, and even after marriage you can come and meet me, no problem. After the boy married, he got his husband and wife and sat with them and spoke to them for an hour, gave them special Mahagarland, Mahaprasad from temple, gave them a big gift. Now you are leaving Pune and going to another place. Wherever you are, be happy, stay in touch. And this person would say, Prabhu, Pune is such a balanced temple, such wonderful devotees. When I was a boy, so much love and care. When I became a grihastha, so much love and care. This is a love and care temple, Prabhu. Because I got love and care from one devotee. So people label a project as love and care project or a fanatical disciplinary project, depending on what experience they got. Atmavan manyate jagat. You understand? Now you see, in every temple, there are people who emphasize on discipline, and there are people who simply let you loose free, and you can be what you are. And if in a temple there are predominantly devotees who are strict, then the temple is branded as a strict temple. And predominantly, if in a temple people give you freedom to grow in your own way, without interfering with you, without watching you too closely, then that is termed as a love and care temple. These kind of things, labeling people do. But in every temple you will find both types of devotees. You will find there are devotees who are strict in austerities. They rise at 2 o'clock in the morning, take bath. Even in Chowpatty, I can show you some devotees. But there is one Gaur Gadadhar Prabhu who gets up at 2:30 in the morning. Very strict and rigid devotee. There are people like that. They perform strict austerities. And there are devotees who hand over discipline very strictly. And there are others who may be very spontaneous and smooth. Similarly, in Pune temple you will find there are devotees who are very loving, caring devotees, very friendly devotees, spontaneous devotees, isn't it? And there are other devotees who are strict disciplinarians. You will find in every project you have all types of people. Srila Prabhupada, he has disciples who emphasize on love and care, who emphasize on discipline. And both of them are whose disciple? A Prabhupada disciple. Somebody is simply smiling, Bhaktichara Maharaj, Radhanath Swami Maharaj. You see them only, they seem to be floating on the ground, not walking. Oh, you see them only, you feel, oh, Prabhu Maharaj. Feel, yeah, isn't it? And there are others, whose words are like thunderbolt, isn't it? You ask a question, they expose and explode illusion, isn't it? Like that. Is it not true? We have all types of gurus. We have. What I see is, I still see their exploding illusion to be another expression of that love. Yeah, that's why I told you in the last class, like when there is rain, there is lightning, there is thunder, and there is rain shower. So there is love. So when a Vaishnava gives anything, all the three are combined. There is enlightenment, there is chastisement, and there is love. All three are inbuilt in it. Isn't it? But sometimes, if you have fear for a Vaishnava, we will see thunderbolt will be ringing more. We will fail to open the window and see the rain. We may not know the rain is also coming. We will know, Prabhuji, thunderbolt. We will feel, da, 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 da. You may close your eyes and ears. But if you look outside, you will see the rain also. So, generally, when any Vaishnava gives, ultimately, the Vaishnava wants to elevate people. So, people form perceptions based on their personal experience. And they float it. Now comes a very important point. Now, when boys from Pune, they happen to go to other projects, like, you go to Gurgaon, you go to Delhi, you go to Noida, you go to north, east, west, south, so many places you go. And you may have to stay in that place maybe for 1 year or 2 years. So how we should behave is very important. It's very, very important. Because when you go to other projects, their emphasis may be different. Some projects emphasize on book distribution. So what should our boys do? You also go along with them and distribute books. And bring a good score to the local temple, they'll be very happy. Some projects may emphasize on children preaching, so you help them in children preaching. And some projects may want to do youth preaching, but not in the way that we preach, but they may have a different style. You go to your temple, you find that every Saturday they get about 40-50 boys coming from different colleges, arts college, engineering college, medical college. Everybody comes together. They chant, dance, eat prasad, hear little and go. But they don't have any fixed voice type of program. Now if you go to the temple authority and tell him, Prabhu, what kind of preaching is this? These boys are just coming, chanting, dancing and going. How many brahmacharis have in the temple? You will say, Prabhu, we have 3 brahmacharis, we have. What is this 3? You can make 3 into 300. I have ideas for you. I think you need help of smart devotees like me. This one boy did like this. One of the neophyte devotees from Pune who went, he did like that. And he said, see, your boys, they don't have any standards. They get up late in the morning. If they live a life like this, they will never be able to progress. You leave the whole youth department to me, I will take care. They got wild on him. Hey, who are you? And then everybody started talking in temple. Ye Pune se aaya hai, Pune se, Pune. Again and again, these people are trying to promote Pune here. So this boy brought bad name to Pune. So later I told this boy, you should never behave in a self-righteous manner, or a condescending manner, or having a superiority complex when you go to other temples. Actually, our Vaishnava philosophy teaches humility. When you go to other projects, you should not even talk about Pune. You cooperate with them. But if they call you, Prabhu, come here, can you please help us? We have 40-50 boys coming, but nobody is becoming devotee. Can you give them some classes? Even then you have to ask them, Prabhuji, what classes you want me to give? Any particular book you want me to take? Ishopanishad or any book? No, whatever training you got in Pune, you teach similar ones, similar things. So then you can tell them, Prabhuji, we have a Discover Yourself course. You feel it's a good idea? We can do for these boys also. If they say yes, then you can do it. And then after that, Prabhuji, can I continue with EBG? Because this is what we were taught in Pune, and we see that it works very well. And if you like the idea, we will continue it. If he says, no, I would like you to continue with some Prabhupada's book. Why don't you take from SSR every week, complete a few pages? Then you should do that. You are there to please the local authority. Not that you do what you want to do. If you go to any other project. Because Prabhupada made the presidents in charge of different temples. Wherever you are living, whatever the president orders you, you have to do it. Even if somebody else tells you anything in that project, you have to go to the president and ask, Prabhu, 3-4 people are telling me to do 3-4 different things. So you tell me what I should do, what I should follow. And you follow what he says. And also when you stay in the temple or when you stay near the temple, you go to the temple and you're taking nourishment from the local temple, then they tell you to preach in a particular college. Then you should preach, bring boys and take the temple president to the program and show him to the program, and he gives lectures to them. Or bring the boys to temple and introduce them to services. If they're working boys, let them give donation to the local project. And attaching to local project, especially if you are connected to the local temple, it's very important. Now if you go to any temple and you are going to the temple on Sunday, you attend program, you take nourishment, you take prasad, and then you bring some boys and you keep them with you only, and you don't introduce them to the local temple, or they don't give donation to local temple, then they feel very unhappy. They feel that this fellow is independently doing something. And why don't he help make the boys do some seva for the temple? They feel. If you are especially going to a temple and connected to a temple, you see, and we should never speak in a superior tone. Nobody will like it. Actually, all of you have been in Pune for so many years. I have brought so many visitors to Pune. Have you ever seen we speak in a superior tone? We always glorify them. Like one morning, one of our TMCs was announcing. I told him to announce. So he took the mic and said, so 4 or 5 devotees have come from such and such temple to come and stay in Pune temple and take our association. So we would like to chant 3 Haribol for them. No? He said. Then I took the mic and said, these 4 wonderful devotees have come from such and such temple to give us their association and share with us ideas of youth preaching. We are preaching to you, they are preaching to you. So we both thought that we will share with each other whatever we know, and we can exchange ideas, because if somewhere there is success, you can copy it. If some temple is successful in something, you can copy the success. So they have come and they are very good in doing wonderful dramas, and they are very good in preaching also. So let us take help from them also, and whatever we know we will share with them like friends. And then we told them Haribol, Haribol, we told them. I said this is the right method of speaking. We should not say that they have come for our association. We should not speak like that. We should not even think like that. See this, we are the best is a disease. This thought is a disease. And we may be thinking we are the best because we are like a frog in the well. We have not seen the outside world. Like I have one friend, Subal Shyam Prabhu in Surat. He invited me last year. This year again he is inviting me. So once in a year he arranges a youth festival where 5,000 boys come. Only from Gujarat, Surat, in those areas. 5,000 boys come for a youth festival. So last time Bhakchar Maharaj and myself, we had called both of us, we went. We did a program. Yakalav Prabhu had come for music. And every year he does it. Last 4 years he is doing it. And he is saying, Prabhuji, please bless me. My goal is to bring 25,000 youths for about 3 evenings. He does. A lot of variety program. So that's going on. There are people like that. Chowpatty does the Prerana program. Every month about 1,000 boys come for a monthly once program. You can see the type of first class prasad they give, the first class kirtan they have, and Radhanath Swami Maharaj gives lecture or Gaurang Prabhu gives lecture. And this they have done almost 90 plus times. They are very soon going to put a century. And try to see the steadiness. Rock steady they have been doing it. Delhi event, they were saying they have 27 bases they have. Gopal Krishna Maharaj himself told me. 50, yeah? They have 50 centers where they have working youths and some other places college youths staying together. And the temple is able to provide cooks for them. The temple is able to provide brahmacharis going and... So, of course, when in 2001, Pune was the first one to start a base kind of concept. People coming together and staying. But once many people came, they saw this is working out well. See, basically, these are all like strategies and systems, which if anybody sincerely applies, it will work. Is it not true? And like DOS works well. See, no genuinely humble devotee can claim monopoly for knowledge. The monopoly for knowledge is only with Krishna. Like discover yourself. Discover yourself is not the possession of Radheshyam Das. Or it's not possession of Pune temple. The discover yourself knowledge is based on Prabhupada's books. It's based on the parampara. If it works anywhere people feel it works, they will use. Some people use Radha Gopinath Prabhu's 7-day journey of self-discovery course. It works, so they use it, isn't it? Whatever works, people are inspired by, they will use it, like that. So we should not be like a frog in the well. We have to go out and see. And we have to take a look at our own deficiencies also. Okay, we have produced so many youths, but how many Prabhupada books have we distributed? There are temples, like Delhi, they are distributing, they are number 1 in the world. They distribute, this time I heard, BBT told me, they have taken 5 lakh Bhagavad Gitas, the 3-4 temples of Delhi. They are going to distribute 5 lakh Bhagavad Gita books. So, then wherever we are deficient, we can try to improve. At the same time, we have to learn to see good in the project that we are serving and in the leaders under whom we are put up also. Otherwise, if you only see the good in others, you will feel inferiority complex. हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं? कुछ नहीं कर रहे हैं. We are nothing. Our project is useless. You may feel like. So what are we doing? That is why objectively when you view, for example, our Pune temple, we want to give support to as many temples as possible. So, we are sending devotees for Dindi Yatra every year. Our PDC devotees went for Dindi, 40-50 devotees. This time 200 people went, including congregation, for about a month. Then we send for GBC Seva, we send devotees, some 30-40 devotees to Juhu, when there is a 1 week attend a meet or whatever. We send devotees for service. As a service to other temples we do, along with that we get mercy also. Many Maharajas we serve, so our devotees get a lot of special mercy like that. Kumbh Mela, we send the devotees also like that. Similarly, some temples are in need of devotees, so we gave some devotees to some few temples, Kanpur and Vrindavan and Calcutta. And some temples we are unable to give brahmacharis, but we are giving them some extended support. Go to Amravati, go to Nagpur, go to Arabade, go to Pandharpur, like that temples. Now we are going to Vellore VIT and assisting them in their youth preaching. We are going to Chennai IIT and assisting Chennai temple in preaching in IIT. So, in this way, we extend ourselves out to other temple projects. When we go there, whatever good they have, we learn from them. Whatever bad they have, we close our eyes. Similarly, when we are giving whatever good we have, we give it to others. Whatever bad we have, we try to bring about a change. That's what we should be doing. And that is ideal to do. So in this way, actually we should have trust and faith in our project where we are working. That is called self-esteem. Self-esteem means you feel yourself safe and secure in the shelter that you are getting. And in case you are not getting such a shelter in the project that you are in, that means you are yet to identify a person who can offer you such a type of shelter. And when you have to leave Pune and go to other projects for some period of time, when you go, see the glory what they have, appreciate it. And if you can share something what you learned in Pune, share with them. And in case you find them having some deficiency, you have to overlook. Hey, that clock is working. I am seeing that clock. Yeah. And I am going according to that speed. So, and sometimes our mind tends to make unhealthy comparisons, which is not good. Unhealthy comparison is not good. Unhealthy comparison means, whatever good we have, we boast about ourselves. Isn't it? And whatever deficiencies they have, you pinpoint it. Like one of the neophyte devotees from Pune, he went somewhere to some base, he stayed in some other temple. And the boys were getting up late. He became very critical, finding fault with others. So Radhanath Swami always used to say, be strict with yourself and be lenient with others. Like I get so many guests in Pune, night they come at 9:30, 10, and they ask me, Prabhuji, what time is Mangalarti? I say, Prabhuji, Mangalarti is at 4:30, but you can come whenever you want. Because you have travelled a long distance, you may be very tired. Although time may be only 9:30, still that's what I tell them. You have been travelling 20 hours, 25 hours. If you want to take rest in the morning and come directly for Shringa Darshan is at 7:30. Will I tell this to any of you? Will anybody in Pune, I will tell this? That is why Prabhupada says, you cannot instruct those who are not your sons or disciples. He says, if somebody is put under your custody, then you have to instruct them. And that is one reason why outside people glorify me so much. Because I am so sweet with them. I am so kind to them, so generous with them. So they will always glorify me because I am never strict with them. Nor am I supposed to be strict with them. Who am I to be strict with them? You see? So, and even if they come for Sringa Darshan directly, my mind doesn't commit any offenses to them at all. Because I feel that, they belong to different projects, and in different projects, different emphasis is given. In some projects, chanting people don't do together in the same hall. So when they come to temple, I cannot tell them, Prabhu, in our temple we chant together in temple hall. And you have come to Pune now. So mind you, you have entered into the Pune territory now. Can we say that? Don't impose your rules on others. That is utter foolishness. Yeah, it's foolish. Like I personally don't prefer to go by flight because it involves a lot of money. And I don't want to accept the privilege. But I will not superimpose it on people coming from other projects. Like when I go to president's meeting in Mayapur or Tirupati somewhere, and 80% of the presidents come by flight. But I can go by train. But I don't have to impose it on others. How many of you came by flight? Tell me. If you ask in the mic, they will throw me out. Is it not true? So don't take your personal policies and go and impose it on other temples. It is foolishness. Like another thing, when you go to the other temples, whatever way they dance, you have to dance like that. Like for example, in Calcutta, they go forward, backward. When you chant Namo Vishnupadaya and Hare Krishna, you also find. So best thing is what? You stand in the side and watch first how they dance, and accordingly you dance with them. Now if you stick to Pune style, this is the way I will dance. In some temples after Shikshashtakam they chant Hare Krishna, they raise the hand. So you also raise the hand. In some places they don't raise the hand, but you alone raise, it's not proper. Isn't it? Whatever order they have, that order you follow. Like in Juhu, Devakananda Prabhu requested, don't make circles while doing Mangalarati there. And also during Guru Puja. He said that Prabhupada didn't like it, devotees catching each other's hands and doing dance in a circle. One Mataji taught it when she came to West, where she was a widow from Vrindavan, Brajavasi. So she taught that, and Prabhupada later on didn't appreciate that. And then Prabhupada taught how to dance. One is the Swami step, another one is forward, backward, going like this. And sometimes making a semicircle where devotees gol gol gumna, they do like that. Our devotees dance in a circle without catching hands. Just do the hands like this, like we do Hariharaya Nama, like that. But nowadays in ISKCON, people have started catching hands and going together, coming back, or moving in a circle, which is generally traditionally done in Vrindavan. Brajabasis do that. So in Juhu, they don't like that. So I told our devotees, don't do it. If they have some norms, do in Rome as Romans do. We say no. So we follow the local norms, whatever norms are to be followed. Like that. And in our own temple, certain ways, like Hariharaya Nama, for example, we form this kind of thing and we dance. In some temples, like in Mayapur, they don't form that. Generally, they dance as it is only. So we also dance as it is. So when you try to insert our Pune systems into other places, then they may not like it. You understand? People may feel that these people are, because that brings about difference. It highlights, it throws torchlight on the difference. Don't throw torchlight on the differences. Throw torchlight on the commonality, as I said. So, this is with respect to associating when you go to other temples, other places. We should not pinpoint the deficiencies because the local authorities there will become annoyed with you. Rather, you try to help them in whatever way you can, in the way they are willing to receive. So Raghunath Swami Maharaj has spoken a lot about this. Personally, I have talked to him about this. He would say, helping others means, Maharaj says, you offer your, good things, what you can offer them in a way that they are willing to receive. That's very important when you go to other places. Don't push down their throat what you want to give them. That's not a proper policy. Now imagine you come across burnt cookies in your life, which I told you. Those devotees who are fried out devotees, as we say. It is very dangerous to associate with them, because they will speak with such conviction about the negativity in the local project that they experienced. It will deeply enter your heart, and it will become a poison inside your heart. So never faithfully hear a blasphemer. It is very dangerous. See, those people who are comparing different projects and talking about them by criticizing other projects, this is another aspect of prajalpa. Prajalpa means what? First aspect of prajalpa is useless talk. The useless talk turns into fault finding, and fault finding turns into useless talk turns into argument. Arguments lead to fault finding, and fault finding leads to blasphemy. You see? So it all begins with what? Useless talk, prajalpa. That leads to arguments. Like for example, useless one fellow says, see, that temple has so much love and care. In this temple there is no love and care. He begins useless talk. The other fellow argues, Prabhuji, how do you say there is love and care only there? Here also there is love and care. I will prove to you. He argues. Other fellow says, no, here it's all like military discipline. As if everybody is holding a gun in the hand and marching past or something. And then there is only love flowing there like abundantly like ocean. So because the other side of the mountain is always green. The goat thinks that if I go there I will get green grass. But when he goes to the other side, he finds that grass is also similar to this grass only. Because when you look at people very closely, then only you know the problems. Anything, like a boy looks at a girl, hey, she's so beautiful. I think if I can marry her, it will be nice. She's fair also. She's beautiful and she's a computer engineer. Everything is matching. This is what I am looking for. And then you marry her, and after she comes, she shouts at you. My Lord, I never knew she's a demon. I should have seen her horoscope. Now I am seeing her horoscope is showing Asuragan. Is it not true? Sometimes somebody looks very beautiful, but you understand. On the other hand, there may be another girl, who may look very simple, but she may be a Gunavati. Is it not true? See, don't judge things from a distance. Go close to see things. When you see things very closely, then only you will know. And as far as Pune and Chowpatty is concerned, honestly I have to say, Chowpatty devotees are very senior devotees and they are very advanced. And they are in very close touch with Maharaj. Like Radha Gopinath Prabhu, Shamanand Prabhu, Govinda Prabhu, Gauranga Prabhu, Sanat Kumar Prabhu. By dint of their close touch with Maharaj, naturally they are far more advanced than me. I consider them as millions of light years ahead of me. And if any of the people from Pune, they feel that Pune has too many Kanishtadhikaris, they are not as advanced as Bombay. So we would like to associate with more advanced devotees. They have full freedom. We are not against it. Like some of the boys went from Pune to Bombay to take up jobs. And then after that they got married to some girls from Chowpatty and they settled there. And they said, Prabhuji, we like association here very much and we want to stay. Generally I encourage boys to go back to their parent project. Somebody comes from Chowpatty, they stay in Pune for some time, they go back to Chowpatty. Somebody comes from Delhi, somebody comes from Calcutta, somebody comes from Tamil Nadu, South India. They go back to their parent projects generally. We encourage them to do that. But in case somebody in their parent project, they were not so much connected to anybody strongly, they didn't feel that shelter. Say somebody became a devotee in Pune chanting a couple of rounds, and then they went to Chowpatty, they found a strong shelter there. So they will naturally join there. Somebody has been in another project where they didn't get so much shelter, they come to Pune and here they find shelter, they may stay here. You understand what I am saying? So basically it's all connection only. If your connection is a loving one, you say that project is a loving project. It's all the perceptions in the mind. Mind always goes by sankalp, vikalp, likes and dislikes. Like you see people, some people say Radheshyam Das, my Lord, is like thunderbolt. He is very dangerous. He gives very strict discipline. This is one category. Another category of people, like one boy wrote to me, one boy, oh, Radheshyam Prabhu, when you talk, I see, it's like flower petals falling from your mouth. Prabhu, nectar is flowing from your mouth. You are so loving, you are so sweet, Prabhu. I am very thankful to you, Prabhu, for your shelter. Some people write letters like this, yeah. There are people. So different people have different perceptions of the same person also. That's another thing. Because sometimes a person is strict with somebody and he is very kind to loving to another person. So one person says, oh, Prabhupada was so nice. Prabhupada was a personification of love. Another person says, Prabhupada was a thunderbolt. Because Vaishnava has both aspects. Vajradapi kathoram, kusmadapi komalam. Yeah. So what you encounter, that makes you decide about that person and the whole project also. You see? So, and from Pune, those who become devotees in Pune, sometimes if they are more inspired by more advanced Vaishnavas, they can settle that. Even for Gauranga Sabha boys, I have told, one boy wrote to me that I am more inspired by some devotee in Bombay. I wrote him back, you can ask him. I wrote him, you can ask Premanand who knows about it. I wrote him, Prabhu, if you are very inspired to join in Chopal temple, you can join there. Don't think I will consider you my enemy or something like that. Hey, kya kar diya tumne? I trained you. Arey, humne aapko bhakti mein laya. Some people talk like that. I will not talk like that. Because, we have to know, in bhakti we get multiple inspiration from different people. So if you like the shelter in Pune, you stay here. If you like that some other shelter is more soothing, you are more confident, you can go there. There's no problem. But I only know one thing, as I told you in the beginning. Organization leads to orderliness. And spontaneity leads to sweetness. And we need a blend of both. And if we overly increase spontaneity, then orderliness will be difficult. And if we overly increase orderliness, there will be dryness. There will be impersonal behavior. It's not very nice. We have to keep a blend of both. In Pune also we are trying to do things which will increase the sweetness by bringing many sweet devotees. Gaurkrishna Prabhu gave 4 days of Shikshashtakam, wonderful. Similarly, we are also organizing camps for devotees also. Not only for new boys we organize camps, for devotees also we organize camps. And we are also focusing on boiling milk, where we are giving training and education to understand each other better. And also to help devotees become more mature and give up Kanishta tendencies and elevate themselves towards Madhyama stage. We are doing these things. And also all of you ask yourself, if we are not endeavoring to serve better, is Pune not growing in a wonderful way? Like you see, this Janmashtami time, some 1400 volunteers served. In those years, the previous years, we used to have 200-300 volunteers. Now 1400 volunteers served. And the congregation is coming together, and boys and congregation, they are collecting funds and building a 40 crores temple, and a better facility is coming. And people are becoming more fixed up and joining the temple and everything. At the same time, you have to find out where are you deficient. Like, because people used to feel voice is very strict, we started Lotus Voice to give them the facility, give some boys a facility so they will feel more comfortable. But it is very important to make sure that the Lotus Voice boys are strongly sheltered. If they are not sheltered properly, they will be feeling inferiority complex and they will feel frustrated. So we certainly want to improve whatever service we are offering. So we should be having some joy, just like, for example, a child should feel safely sheltered in the custody of the parents. But the child can also receive love from uncle, love from aunt, love from grandmother, grandfather. It can receive love from different people. But there is one person who has to wash your stool and urine, which is parents, which is generally done by the parents. They have to instruct and clean up the wrong side of our personality, and they have to grow us up. So in this way, when you encounter people with negativity, burnt cookies, other projects when you go, immediately stop them. Tell them, Prabhu, please don't talk these things. I don't want to hear these things. Let us talk about Krishna. Bring Bhagavatam, open it. Or bring Leelamrit, open it and read it out. Don't hear from them. Because if you hear from them, your faith will be disturbed. You will get a chakkar. And also what happens, sometimes somebody says that, Pune, they are brahmachari fanatics. And, they don't encourage grihasthas. You have to ask grihasthas. You ask Krishnakshar Prabhu, Tulasi Prabhu, Jayagopal Prabhu, Mukundanand Prabhu, what they feel about it. Don't just hear from somebody. So, and many grihasthas, they are also multiplying preaching. You can see. See, Karnataka Prabhu is so loving to grihasthas. Palagovind Prabhu is expanding so many grihastha preaching. Murari Prabhu, Sri Guru Charan Prabhu. You can see that so many programs have expanded. I did program in Jayadev's house for 8 years. Practically, Jayadev and Satyajit Mataji gave such love and care, and they got support from the temple. Now practically 15 counselors came out of that. You will see that how Pune is preaching. Send out devotees out of Pune. They preach outside, take challenges, do preaching in an organized way. When you give challenges to young boys, they feel very nice also. In Pune and outside Pune they preach, and then as they take saffron, they spend 3, 4, 5 years outside Pune, then they come back to Pune. When they come back, all their counselors also come, then they join Brahmacharya ashram or they become Grihasthas. And then when they take saffron, then they start preaching to congregation. Because we don't want very young devotees to preach to congregation. So after they spend 5, 6, 7 years in the movement, then they go for congregation preaching where they can deal with families. So they become like fatherly figures by that time. So there is less chance of brahmacharis becoming distracted. So it's a very wonderful plan it is. Vision is very wonderful. Otherwise you send a white devotee for congregation preaching, he sees a girl and he wants to marry. So initially we say preach only to youths, boys. So very grand plan it is. Not that we are fanatical. And those who want to become brahmacharis, they get Gauranga Sabha training. Those who don't want to join Brahmacharya ashram, they get Nityananda Sabha training, which is very wonderfully being given by Krishna Kishore Prabhu and team. So, actually I spoke so exhaustively about these things. I feel most of the questions will be answered. And here there are some questions. Is there any? Another. And in case they are managerial, I can answer them in the email also. I can answer them. I can keep them, yeah. Any questions? Now we have only 3 minutes left. Yes. And one more very important thing I forgot to tell you. Sometimes what happens, your relationship with your counselor also becomes strained. Sometimes. Because the counselor sometimes sees that you have a particular anartha. You and him jointly want to work on it and remove that anartha. Actually, he is interested in seeing you becoming free from that anartha. But in the course of helping you, sometimes he may seem to be very harsh. Sometimes. So because of that, what we generally tend to do, we try to keep distance from the counselor, which is most dangerous actually. If you don't like a counselor, you accept another counselor. If you have serious problems with the counselor. But counselor is not your enemy. He tries to help you to grow in spiritual life. Then what happens, we have a false ego, and when we hear from somebody who is a fried out fellow, then we also think, I am also facing trouble like you. Then we become another burnt cookie like them. You understand, no? So we also align with them, which is very dangerous for us. So we have to know that our superiors are not our enemies. They are actually there to help us. In fact, they are enemies to our anarthas. They are like Krishna is chastising Arjuna, Jadabharata is chastising Rahugana, like that you find. It's like a surgeon carrying a knife and removing the pus. So we have to let them do it and take help. If you want, you can ask for anesthesia, surely. But you should not become afraid of your own counselors and seniors. And in case you are not getting that type of shelter what you want from your counselor, then you should change your counselor. Actually, in any project you are serving, you should have one person whom you heartily love. It's very important. You love him from your heart, you have respect for him, you honor him, even in his absence you think of him, and you value his instructions, and that is the one person from whom you take instruction. You need at least one person. If you don't have that one person, better you pack up, go to another project and look for such a person. Yeah, otherwise your life, In fact, although I have been sent from Chabari to Pune many years ago, I remember my memories so fondly. The encounter I had with my seniors, even now I continue to have, because we meet monthly once for a couple of days. We spend. So if you don't have fond memories in your heart of associating with your seniors and your counselor and other people, then there is very little chance to grow in spiritual life. If somebody is frustrated, I think I'm in a bad project. Like that, somebody is thinking like, project is bad, it's military here, there is so much control. You cannot be happy. So go to a project where you can be happy. So I am telling you honestly, Actually, we have to go to some place where our mind and heart, everything is peaceful and we are stable spiritually, and we can progress in our spiritual life. And there is no, see, it's all out of your own free will. It's voluntary. Nobody can hold you, pin you down in any project. Ultimately, why are these projects there? These projects are all there to help us advance. So, in any project where you are there, you have to be happily situated. It's very important. Hare Krishna. Any questions? What's this time? Yeah, one quick.
Relationship with equal devotee. There's a devotee whom we see as a senior devotee, but his dealings to us is like an equal. He's giving us gifts, he's sharing his heart with us. And of course, in this course, nice relationship develops, and then the devotee starts asking us, please give me feedbacks. So what should we give feedback on? What should we tell?
Actually, in friendships, the one thing that makes friendships material, or the one thing that makes friendships dry, is giving feedback to each other. It's extremely dangerous. I have seen His Holiness Raghunath Swami Maharaj. I have seen him, how he behaves with people, even with equals, is very cautious. He's extremely careful. And even with younger devotees, when he gives feedback, like one day somebody was driving Maharaj in a car, he was driving too fast, one bump came, boom, like their car went like this. And the devotees behind, they were shouting at the driver, He was one grahastha devotee. They were telling, Prabhuji, there is a bump here, be careful. Maharaj sitting in the car, they were whispering in his ears loudly. And Maharaj just looked at him and said, Hari, Hari! No, he laughed. That's all he said. Now what is the meaning of this Hari, Hari? Hari, Hari means be careful. That's the meaning. That's all he said. He didn't say anything more than that. And that too, that fellow is his disciple only. But Maharaj is very careful in giving feedback. Like while talking to Maharaj, somebody was telling that Maharaj, this fellow is disrespectful, he is frivolous, and he is careless, in dealing with Vaishnavas, and he needs to be rectified, And Maharaj said, no, he is a bit more familiar, like with me, when he is dealing, like that Maharaj said. So, instead of using those strong words, strong adjectives, so Maharaj is very careful even while dealing with his disciples. What to speak of dealing with equals? I wonder whether he gives any feedback to any of his equals. He is extremely careful. And even if he would do, he would only do for those things if a person is about to fall down or something, then he might give feedback to a person in a very polite manner, gentle manner. So generally, we don't have to give small feedback to people, because Krishna is there as Paramatma and they will understand it themselves. And actually many people ask you feedback. When you give feedback, their face will become small. And they will take next 1 more hour to prove to you how the fault that you told them is actually not a fault. Because we are all young devotees. We are not above the 3 modes. So it is very dangerous for us to give feedback to each other. So you can always say, Prabhuji, it's wonderful. And when you give feedback, in case you want to give something which you feel is very important, you have to give a lot of good about them. Like you see Vedavyas Narada Muni conversation. Narada is glorifying Vedavyas, then telling feedback. Then glorifying, then feedback. Like that he is doing alternatively several times, so that it becomes balanced. Occasionally, if you have to at all, give. So I'll conclude the talk here. And if you have any further questions, you all can give it under the Prabhu. One more class, if they have questions on this theme. Actually, I have got something more to say about Guhyam Akyati Prichati, which I will talk in the next class. Along with that, I can answer the questions also. So next class, you have to announce it? Schedule is there? Okay. So if any of you have questions, you can send to add@voicepune.com. Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki. Thank you very much.